All right. I'll do just fine. Oh dear, how's everybody? We got a few friends here. Aquatic Conquest, Holly Gibbs, KassCeeBee, Roxanne, Peplin Creek, Lee Wilcox. Good morning, Lee. And who else? And Father Fish. Let's see. Aquatic Conquest sent us a video that he's very proud of. So I think we're going to play it. See if we can get, I think I've got it up here. I don't know what's happening. Pretty. That's sweet. Oh, look at that. Nice. Very nice. Aquatic Conquest. Good job. Whoa. Ah, we didn't need that. Let's see. I need to get back on YouTube to my channel so I can look at. Whoops. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're good. Petroman. Oh, Chevy Fish is here. Tisha. Hi, Tisha. Having a nice big pork roll and cheese and coffee. Sounds wonderful. Manes, tails, fur, and fins. Good morning. Kenny B called me last night, halfway through Texas. He said you wore him out on the horses. So, but he had a wonderful time with you, Jess. I know he loved it, and we appreciate you stopping in. Let me put up a link here in case there's anybody who's got anything on their mind and in their heart that they simply must share. We're going to allow you the opportunity to do that right about now. Oh, wow. Aquatic Conquest has said he's let his male cribby go. They killed his electric blue rams. Yeah, I found with even the dwarf cichlids, the little guys, if you want to breed them and keep the babies going, you really need to set them up in their own tank. And it doesn't take much. You know, a 10, anything between a 10 and a 20 will do really just fine. Don't have a spare tank, that is a problem. Oh, morning, afternoon, yes, Lee. Peplin Creeks are super aggressive when they have young. Oh yeah, I've had the same experience. I've had them raise young in very tanks with very aggressive fish, and they do real well. Just catching up to comments here yesterday, today. Roxanne goes to Jersey to buy fish. A lot of good stores in Jersey. A lot of them. All right. Let's see. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up bring up KassCeeBee. KassCeeBee's not here yet, is she? Roxanne's here. Let's do Roxanne. There's something odd going on with my stream. It's jumping. I'm getting I'm getting a kind of a gap effect. I don't know quite what's causing that, but it's not very pleasant. Let's see. What do we got here? Let me go back. When I found myself in times take trouble, and she comforts me, speaking words of wisdom. And in my time of darkness, you stream out in front of me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. I don't stand up and let it be. Let words of wisdom. Let it be. When all the broken hearts and visions coming in to be, there is an answer. But there may be cloudy, and there's still a chance that they can't see. There is an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. As I'm standing, let it be. There is an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. As I'm standing, let it be. There is a wisdom. Let it be. It's Sam Barker here from the Motley Fool. Behind me is Landmark Hall, the wrong part music. The once was a bustling and moving shopping center just a stone's throw away from Motley Fool headquarters is now a sad shell of its former self. Only still open here is Sears, which in fact just announced its closing. In fact, the parking lot here now. Sorry about that. Steven, stuck in a meeting. Oh dear. Oh dear. Nice to see you, Stephen. Whew. I'm having a little trouble this morning, so I may be up and down a bit. Ugh. KassCeeBee. Ooh. Roxanne, thank you for that lovely, lovely song. Audio wasn't great. I wonder if I may have the volume turned down too low. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I've got to take a break here. Give me a minute, please. Oh, Lord. Ah, I'm sorry. Whew. I may need to start this at 8:30. I'm having trouble in the mornings. It just gets me up and moving too quick. Oh, dear. The old man's struggling. Oh, tanks. Oh, Lisa, good morning. I'm going to post the link again in case I've missed it. Oh, dear. Uh, Stash the duckweed, huh? Ugh. Yeah, one of the joys of being on salary is that it guarantees you a stable income, but it does not correspond to one's duties. Oh, Kenny D, good morning. He made it to Havasaw City, Arizona. Good job. That was a long haul. That was like a 17-hour straight through for Ken from Louisiana through Texas into Arizona. He called me about 9 o'clock last night, halfway through Texas, complaining that where he was not worth being. Aquarium Cop, hit the alert button. You betcha. Now, I don't feel well at all this morning, Lisa. Ooh, thank you, Holly. Borley cichlid, Peplin Creek is talking about. That's a nice fish. See if we can get a picture of it up here. Oh, oh dear. Redfin Borley. Huh. Let's see. If we do images, that'll do it. And let's get it up. Pretty fish. Borley. One of the peacocks. Please. Let's see. Hi, Logans. Peplin Creek. What are you linking here? Let's see. Oh, wow. A tank full of them. That's oh. I'm having a lot of trouble today. Replay. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this to come up. There we go. And we're back to the crevies. Oof. Mercy. Oh, what's going to get me in gear today? Kenny D. 2 Logans. Oh, oh my word. Lisa had an accident at Home Depot yesterday. Cut her foot open. Wow, that's dreadful. Still have 2 mugs left. If you want a mug for 25 bucks, shipping included, send $25 to PayPal, fatherfish@fatherfish.net with your address, and I'll be happy to send you one of the last 2 mugs. We will be getting more. This is a special edition. The others will be a little different. So happy to get that out to the last 2 people. I only have 8 of them. So we're going to get these out quickly. And oh, well, that's father time, not father fish. Yeah, feels that way. Chevy Fish is talking about all kind of stuff. She's been plugging in as I've been um, having problems. Thank you, Chevy. Oh, Kenny D is in Arizona. Kenny's in Arizona. They try to catch up with each other. He may be close to where you are. Don't know. Oh, you know what? I was confusing the two, wasn't I? I think I just need to. I'm rushing too much in the morning, and it's upsetting my system. I think if I start a half an hour later, I'll be okay. I'm having to get up at like 6 o'clock, and then I found myself kind of rushing around and putting a lot of pressure on myself and not taking care of my morning ablutions effectively, and it catches up to me. Ugh. So I'm missing out on all the conversation. Yeah, KassCeeBee talking about going into Home Depot with flip flops instead of work boots. You got that right. Oh, let's see. Let me get back over to my YouTube channel and get back to the music of Father Fish. While we're at it, we may just as well play it all. Here comes KassCeeBee. He comes on in the morning every day. And some song gathered with sand, and play. He will help you do it the right way. And the some fish walk up the way. Feed them high quality food. That food is best. Keep it good. Keep it on that natural. I found my way back to other fish. Nice, KassCeeBee. Really sweet. Thank you so much. Aquatic Conquest is saying is BBA has started to disappear since it reduced the light. Well, that works. Absolutely. There was something else. Tisha is Dutch. Got a bunch of people from Holland on here. I know something is wrong with the audio, and I don't know what it is. I have the volume down. Let's take a look. See this again. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. It's jumping, and it's not very loud. And I've got all my volume cranked all the way up on everything. I do have the microphone, or do I? No, I don't. Microphone is not plugged in. So I don't know what's going on. I did finally figure out the camera thing, so I'm able to use the better camera. um, without going through a lot of monkey shines. I was simply able to select it when I went to StreamYard. So that was good. Did something right. Now I got to figure out this volume business. Oh. Sharpie's got another batch of Cribbies, looks like. Yeah, I noticed it's the, when I try to play one of the videos, it jumps. And it's been doing it for a couple of days. So I don't know, it may be, I was told I need to clear my router once a week, and I have not done that. So I'll do that when we get off and see if maybe that'll make a difference. Morning, Betsy. We got a bunch of new turtles. We have a sulcata in here. We got new little babies. And there are about 20 new ones in the turtle container. I didn't set anything up for them. We had talked about doing that.
Putting them in a separate tank.
Putting them in a separate.
There's no bigger ones in there, so that's the good thing. The bigger ones were what was
we took them all out, right?
Yeah.
So I put about maybe a dozen.
Okay.
In there.
All right, good. So I'll know for feeding.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And frogs. I've got 2 batches of frogs.
And there also?
In there also.
Oh, okay.
Right? Green tree frogs, and another one's called a Gray's frog. I don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
they're one.
Okay.
So a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent. Okay. The lady who was looking for the hand fed, I need 1 more week. I can call her and explain it to her if you have her number.
How many are you hand feeding right now?
4.
Wonderful.
So okay. 2 are already sold, and the other 2 I'll have in the cage here ready to go.
I've already got a 3rd person looking.
Okay, perfect.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I sold the big tank yesterday. The big one, right?
So
there.
that half little one?
Yeah, yeah. I got a deposit.
Oh, excellent.
So we'll see.
Yeah, so this one didn't get picked up or get sold then?
No, him sold it.
Okay, I thought Frank maybe had sold it, but.
No, he had people looking at it.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, other than that, that was it. Do you have that lady's number? Was she going to come by this weekend to pick up a bird?
Yeah, I think so. Well, to look.
Okay.
I told her we needed notice.
Okay.
And she did not give me an affirmative.
Okay.
Affirmative on it.
Because I can bring it in for her to see, but it's eating.
If it's not ready, let's not do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have them ready in no more than a week. If I can even get it sooner, I will.
Okay, yeah. That's great.
Okay, perfect.
Wonderful.
Yay! Yes. So no snakes, right?
No snakes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Hey.
Thank you.
Oh dear. Petraman is running off. Take care. Oh. Oh. What are we talking about here? Talking about lighting, bristlenose and apistos, Sharpie's models. Huh. Yeah, the trick is to get them up. And it's really hard to get them up without putting them in adequate space. I consistently lose the pistos if I don't separate the babies and put them in a tank by themselves to grow out. Consistently lose them. I think they just get picked off. Oh, and Tisha is speaking Dutch, and I don't have my translator. Paul C. Hello, Paul C. Oh, glory. We're not even at 9 o'clock yet, and I'm fading fast here. Lee's dilemma. Lee's dilemma. Well, you know, one thing you could do, Lee, you could turn it into a frog tank and just leave the frogs in there. Since she likes the frogs so much, give her that choice. You know, the other option is to just leave it alone and do what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with what you've got. If you're really worried about feeding, get a baster, like a turkey baster or some other long eyedropper kind of thing, and feed them that way. That way you don't have to put your hands in there, and the baster will work fine. You can direct it, and if you're feeding them at a certain time, then they're going to be ready for you. If some of the other fish get some of it, well, they're just gonna, that's all. What you might do is when you feed the frogs, put a little flake on the top for all the other fish to come to first, and then use the baster to feed the frogs. Oh, thank you, Stephen. I may need to do that. Tisha, want to email Father Fish with a few questions about which soil to pick up at my local garden center. Tisha, it really doesn't matter. Just get the richest you can and get something as a filler. I use peat moss, chopped fine peat moss as a filler. You can use uncut peat moss as well. That works just fine. I like to use both a potting soil and some kind of heavier, more dense manure kind of product. And then for additives, iron and calcium are probably the two most important. Powdered calcium and whatever kind of iron oxide you can get. It's sold in garden shops for fruit trees and roses and stuff. So you can use that. Works just fine. Chevy Fish is saying a later stream is best for her too. Yeah, the problem is that, well, I don't know. I'll work it out. I will work it out. We spent an hour talking about this morning. Save us an email address. That's right. Oh, yes, Tisha, that's correct. No space between the first father fish and the at character. I don't know why that space got in there, but it don't belong. Fatherfish at fatherfish.net. Lee wants to know if I signed the mugs. No, but I'll be happy to break the handle off for you, Lee, and crush it up and stick it in the mug, pack it down with garden soil or something, so that you'll have something special. That way, we want you to have something really special, Lee. So I can do that if you like. We could even chip it a bit if you want. Give it a little more character. Holly, thank you, dear. I may do that. Wait and see how things are going. Misfit has been volunteering at her local fish store. Gotten a lot done. Delighted to hear it. Local fish stores of the father fish variety need all the help they can get, and they're not profit making business by and large. So they really can use all the love and all the support that is offered to them. So look forward to seeing that, Misfit. Fresh coffee right here. I went to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. Went to McDonald's, and their screen was out. And they said, we can't take your order at this screen. They'll have to pull around at the other one. And there were 20 cars backed up. So I went across the street to Dunkin' Donuts. And I think that's what triggered my gut. I had a sandwich I probably should not have eaten. Ooh, dose of salts. Talk about a dose of salts. Lord. Lisa was bleeding all over Home Depot. Oh dear. Oh, what is Rohad talking about? Says it was not allowed to cycle uphill the forest guards. Bummer. Don't know. Well, I got back as far as I could. What is this? This is strange. Lisa, I have soil from the Amish. Can I use that in my tanks, Father Fish? Now, soil from the Amish. What are we to make of this? Soil from the Amish. Lee, we need your help on this. Soil from the Amish. Oh dear. Lisa, now you didn't get that at Home Depot, I dare say. You got that on the QT. You got that off of off a horse and buggy, I'll bet. Did you get it from behind a horse and buggy? Is that what we're talking about, Lisa? In which case, I would be sure to cap it maybe an extra inch of sand would be good. Oh my. Soil from the Amish. I don't really quite know what it'll give you. The Amish are pretty good farmers, though. And I dare say they use Amish soil to grow their crops. So listen, if you don't feel as though it's going to mess you up spiritually, which I would doubt seriously, probably could only be beneficial. I would go ahead and use it, Lisa. Just take a leap of faith and put it in your tank and cap it with an inch of sand. And I dare say you'll be good to go. You might invite an Amish friend over to see how the tank is doing. I don't know a lot of Amish who have tropical fish. I do know a few. So you might consider that. KassCeeBee. Well, now, KassCeeBee raises an interesting question about Amish soil. She says, do they have chemicals added, pesticides? Then don't use it. If it's all organic, I don't see why not. Yeah, quite so, Cassie. My assumption with anything called Amish soil is that it's going to be organic, but I suppose it's worth checking. I would dare say it's organic, but then again, one never knows. It's always good to check. Lee is saying, don't actually know. Look it up for us, Lord Kelvinstraw. We go multiple times a year off the plane and into a taxi. Aha. No idea in this world. Albert DeMoore says normal potting soil is good. Yes, it is. Just fine. Father Fish, do you think LED lights have transformed the hobby? LED lights have transformed the hobby. That's an interesting question. I think the hobby was transformed by the fluorescent lights. This is simply another level of transformation, if you will. But then the light bulb transformed. See, it didn't really provide a transformer, though. And that's where I'm caught with your question, Lisa. Wasn't Lisa? Who was that? It was, I don't know who it was. Oh, Aquatic Contest. If, on the other hand, you're asking whether LED lights have had a salutary effect on the keeping of fish, I would say no. Although I find myself converting very little water, Betsy. I found the sulcata in the water upside down yesterday, drowning. I got him out while he was still moving, so maybe just half an inch or so.
Do you want me to put him in a separate tank on top, small tank?
You can if you want to. I thought he'd probably be all right in there. Whatever.
Okay.
Do what you think is right.
Okay. Yeah, because he needs a shallower dish for water.
Yeah, and they may not happen again too, but I wouldn't want to risk it. He was upside down in the water, just barely flailing.
Oh. Okay.
I'm glad I just caught him in nick of time, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Plus, he might need just a shallower dish, and he's got to climb up and down.
Yeah. Hard. He probably falls in doing it.
Yeah, I think a smaller tank on top.
There is one, I think, on the floor, right on the other.
Oh,
Yeah,
the blue tank.
yeah. I looked for it, couldn't find it, so I set up the other one.
Okay,
So go ahead and use that.
okay. Let me put some,
Need to clean it up. Put some
yeah.
peat in it or something.
Yep. Okay, perfect.
Oh, I'm converting my shop to LED. I'm mostly doing it. I'm online. Mostly doing it. Betsy was looking at me like I was saying something that didn't make a bit of sense. Ah, mostly doing it to save on heat and electricity, and it gives me the same quality light with a whole lot less fixture. I can use one 40 watt, and it's really replacing 3 or 4 that are sitting up much higher. So they're not getting quite the amount of light in the tank anyway. Stephen is saying yes and yes to something. Tisha, soil for roses with added calcium. That sounds good. Peplin Creek Sharpies got timed out by mistake. Yeah, I think I brought it back up. Oh, did I get Sharpies back? I thought I did. You want to try posting Sharpies? Ah, Stephen dropped his phone and it killed Sharpie. Holly, why can't we feed the frogs by hand? Listen, Holly, don't take anything, any conversation between Lee and me as gospel. It's all farce, and bears little to no resemblance to any responsible aquatic discipline. I am simply teasing him about putting his hands in the tank, but he's got a real issue, which is he's feeding these fish and he's trying not to feeding the frogs and trying not to feed the other fish. So you'd like to be able to move him out of there. The problem is Sue likes to watch him sitting next to the tank. So if he moves him, she can't see him. We can always move Sue, I guess. Put her chair by the other tank. That that would work. Or she could hold it on her lap. Yeah, there you go. Make a little tiny bowl for the frogs, and when you're going to feed them, put them in the bowl and put it on Sue's lap so she can sit there and watch them and let her feed them with them sitting on her lap. That way, she won't miss them. Oh, Paul C is feeding strained flake food to his baby guppies. Father fish, why do my shrimp drop their eggs the moment they produce them? Well, let's see now. If you were seeing the eggs then they have been ostensibly fertilized. And it may simply be that they're not fertile, in which case the female's going to drop them. But I don't know. I mean, they should be carrying them on their swimmerettes for a period of time before they let them go. So the only thing that really makes sense to me is that if she really is dropping them, the minute they become apparent, become visible, then it's probably because they're not fertile. So you might add a few more shrimp, try to add a male or two to the mix. Sharpie, talking about a male picking off babies. Albert, now Lee is suggesting to Albert that he clean up his act. Here's the pot. Called trying to scrub. Do you know what happens when a black pot scrubs another black pot? Lisa, yeah, I'm on blood thinners. Know about that. All right, I got most of that. I don't want to go back anymore. Lord, I lost about an hour here. So Sharpies is back. That's good. Oh, well, KassCeeBee just heard an Atlas rocket go off. The windows were shaking, too hazy to see anything. Huh. Was there a rocket off of Kennedy this morning, Betsy? You know?
No, not that I know of.
Somebody just heard something go up. Blake says couple of unhappy poles. Well, that could be. Would take an Aussie to figure that out. It's getting a little weird here, guys. Sharpie, I hope you meant dung, not dong. Lisa says, damn autocorrect. Couldn't agree more. Hate autocorrect. Hate it. Spell check. There we go. That's nice. Got our little Sakata now has a new home.
And he's going to be more of a pellet guy versus these guys, which are more insects.
Oh, yeah,
it works
okay.
out better anyways.
Nice.
Yeah.
There he is. Got a little hide, a little dish of water, some food. He'll be happy. All right. Wonderful. Oh. Huh. Don't know what launch. Betsy, I thought Betsy would know. She doesn't know of anything. Roxanne, we're back to the Amish topsoil. Roxanne's close to a Lancaster, home of organic Amish topsoil. And Peplin says it'll be organic for sure. Well, that was certainly my assumption. I can't imagine any good Amish farmer using a pesticide, at least not a chemical pesticide. They may do some natural stuff. Lee, Sue's really happy with your help regarding her frogs, as they are now. I'm happy to, because it is all doing really well. Thank you yet again. Ah, good. Tisha. I just discovered that means turf in Dutch. The soil for roses is peat-based with added calcium and magnesium. That's good too. Go ahead and use it. Mix it in with some soil though. The peat is really good, but you don't want to use it straight. Mostly because it's so light. You want something that's got a bit more substance. But I use twice as much peat as I do soil in order to get the bulk. In order to get the bulk up, and peat is wonderfully organic, so it's going to be very beneficial. Albert, organic soil does not, excuse me, it does not have to be organic. If you can find it, so much the better. But you can use a fertilized potting soil. It's not going to be damaging in any way. KassCeeBee said, I hate it when they do these morning launches. I can't see anything. Are you in Texas? Where are you, Cassie? It's not foggy here in Florida. So you got to be somewhere else. Hello, Bill Witt. Nice to see you. Roxanne's calling for the sandbell. Tisha. NPK is 12, 14, 24. Oh. 12, 14, 24. Wow. So the iron is 12. Nitrogen, phosphate, K, calcium. Huh. I've never really concerned myself with the relative quantities of elements. I just sort of do a handful here and a handful there and grab whatever bag strikes my fancy. It's not really a very scientific system. It's more a seat of your pants kind of system. So I recommend, for example, with people who are at a distance or they're just trying to do something quick, to just throw a little bit of soil in, wet it good, make it mud, pour some sand on top, and fill it up with water without stirring it all up. Put a towel on it when you put the water in. You don't want to stir it up. And whatever it is what it is. Basically, it's going to be fine. The reality is that you by doing the sand cap. The sand cap really is the salvation of the system because it allows whatever is in that soil to break down in an anaerobic environment, which is the safest place to keep it. As opposed to buying a fancy, expensive soil and using that as the sole substrate for your tank. All that really does is release whatever nutrients are in the soil into the water column, and then you wind up with a lot of algae. So you really need to cap it anyway. And once you cap it, it doesn't much matter what you got under there. Whatever it is, it's going to work fine. When you plant the plant it halfway down into the sand and let the roots search for nutrition. They'll go looking for it and they will find it. Don't try to stick them down in the dirt or soil or whatever you've got because it could burn the roots. It could provide so much nutrition that they rot. If anyone's ever pulled a plant out with black rotten roots, you'll know what I'm talking about. That doesn't happen when there's a little bit of water flowing around it, as in putting it 1 inch down in the sand. So, while I say this is not scientific, the throwing it together part isn't, but the system is very much the scientific system because it's based on natural environments and creating a natural environment. And that's really your goal, to create a natural environment. Now, let's back up a little bit. There have been, over the past 10 years or so, a number of people and a number of organizations, a number of businesses, a number of clubs that have taught a very specific system for substrate that goes to using rather expensive additives. There's nothing wrong with those additives. The system that they put together, however, is not intended to be maintained over the long haul. It's essentially a short-term system which is set up and designed to be a show tank, typically to be entered into a contest. Those tanks, virtually 100% of them, are not maintained for more than 6 months to a year. The people who own them don't own 50 tanks. They own 3 or 4 very nice tanks. And they set them up, and over a period of maybe one every 3 to 6 months. And it takes 3 to 6 months to get one of them set up. And then they'll go back to the original one and break it down. So they may have a system set up for 2 years. That's not normal, but it could be. They could be set up for 2 years. By that time, the plants are going to be suffering. They will have burned up available nutrients with CO2 additive and continued cropping, they will have become leggy and unattractive. So their life, the lifespan of a very sophisticated designer tank is 6 months to a year. It could run as long as 2 years before it's finally broken down. After a year and a half or so, it rarely is attractive anymore. Now, I put out this challenge to anyone who has a highly designed tank set up with a shallow substrate that's needing to be replenished on a continuing basis, that has CO2 added routinely to the tank, to show me a tank 2 years old that really is spectacular and worth keeping. I do not deny that such tanks exist. I personally would love to see one. I think what you'll find is there may be one or two that will prove the exception. Typically, that's not what those tanks are set up for, and that's not what I'm teaching. That's not what we're doing here at Father Fish. We're not trying to enter a contest here. At least I'm not. Well, some of you may be. You may be wanting to set up just that kind of tank. You can do it with a deep sand bed. It's going to be very different, though. The growth rate's going to be different. The appearance is going to be different. Unless you do a lot of sculpting of the substrate, it will not look the way a very sophisticated designer tank looks. Let's see. Oh, KassCeeBee is right by Kennedy, so you hear all the launches at Canaveral. Sharpies, looking for ideas for tank mates with electric blue Acara, Fulgurine bristlenose, and a Senegal biker. Heavily planted 45-gallon. Well, the bikers do get big. Gee whiz. I would go to Central American and South American cichlids. And you can be choosy there. Severums are a good choice. There's a lot of variation, and they do well in that kind of environment. I would not do angels and discus necessarily, although I have discus with my electric blue Acara. The Acara are, however, small. I don't think even big ones would bother them though. So you can do most anything. The wild card is the biker, and you're probably going to need to do something about him. Oh, Lisa's talking about an Amish-owned gardening store. Nice. Nice. Bill Witt. They sell it with manure in it and manure out. I would just go ahead and get it with manure, you know, save you an extra step and an extra bag of something. And then get a bag of peat while you're at it and mix that in. Again, okay. Oh, yeah, there's something shorting out. Need to find it.
Okay.
Okay. We have a short back there. Need to find the short. The power is off right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'll get back there when we're through here. I already had to turn it back on once this morning. You know what? I'm going to play a song and go flip a few switches so we can get back on there. Let me do Lee. Lee is so cheerful in the morning. Let's see, you really haven't heard much of Roxanne's song though, and I love it. Let's do Roxanne. The Black Box. When I find myself in time to take trouble, wanna be she comforts me, speaking words of wisdom. And in my time of darkness, He is straight in front of me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, as I'm seven, let it be. But as words of wisdom, let it be. When all the broken water, the fishes, they are to me. There's an answer, let it be. For though it may be cloudy, there's still a chance that we can see. There's an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. As I'm standing, let it be. There is an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. As I'm standing, let it be. For there's words of wisdom, let it be. What are we playing here? I don't know, but that was a nice one. Ah, Aquatic Conquest. Well, he pays you money, you take your chances. KassCeeBee gets excited every time she hears one going off. I'll bet you. We don't see them over here. They go out over the Atlantic. They don't come this way. So unless it's early in the evening with a really clear sky, and at that it's like at 15 degrees, pretty low on the horizon. We don't get to see them from here. Roxanne's going into lurk mode, needs to lay down. Bless you, sweetheart. Get some sleep. I'm going to be joining you soon on this side of the earth. Blake, good for the goose, good for the gander. You bet. You bet. Good day, Blake. Oh. Abolished Farms, hello, hello. Oh dear. Sharpie blew a flat earther's mind. Took him to the coast to watch a ship sail over the horizon. I'm sure it thoroughly confused them. But then they'll figure it out. It'll come. They'll figure out that it's slightly concave. Kind of comes up at the ends to keep the water from falling off. It's like a bowl. It's really not flat. It's more like a bowl. Misfit got baby snappers hatching. How cool is that? Nice. Don Flores. Good morning, Don. Oh, Blake. Chevy Lisa. How art thou? No GH on now. It's though. Unless Aussie spells it differently. Shall I bake it, Father Fish? Want to bake your soil? Well, I don't know. You kill the organics doing that. I wouldn't do it. The organics are pretty important. That's really what's going to give you an immediate nitrification infusion. So part of the benefit of doing this whole thing is that you kickstart the nitrate cycle. We haven't talked about that much, but that's why you can put fish in it right away, because you've got a bit of a nitrate cycle going from day one. And it's enough to be able to handle a small bio load. SpaceX, KassCeeBee saying, but it can be. Most of it's top secret. I dare say. Oh, be nice to get a. Oh yeah, Peplin saying that snappers are hatching in her territory right now, all over the place. So where are we? We're in mid-September, early September. So they've been baking. They've been baking all summer long. They were laid last May, April, May, early June, and are now hatching 90 days later. And they'll get their first meal and then go into hibernation pretty quick. Right. Oh, Chevy Fish suggesting my option, which is instead of moving the frogs, move the fish. Then you could put something else in with the frogs that would eat the frogs. Gets to be a problem, doesn't it? Anyway, I think you've probably, I don't know, Lee, you gotta you got it set up the only way you can do it, given what you've got, because the goldfish have to be fed. You can't put them in with the platies, with the live bears, because then you're gonna have to feed that tank, and you'll be right back to where you were. I think the solution is the baster. Sounds like you've tried that and it's working. And it made Sue happy. So that's all that matters. Peplin Creek is saying I'm a chat kind of guy. And Misfit, what a wonderful time it is. Turtle hatching. I hope you all caught my turtle unpacking yesterday. We did not get snappers in. I simply chose not to. I really need to get a big snapper and then set up my turtle tank again. I've got to get it repaired though. It started leaking, so I need to get some little person to climb in it and fix it. Peplin Creek talking about turtles in her creek, painted turtles. I think I got some paints yesterday. I don't remember what I got. We got the list here. Oh, here it is. Let's see. I got pink belly side necks, which is a really cool little fish. Red belly, peninsula cooters, maps, kegel maps, and then a spur thigh, and two kinds of frogs, the gray tree frog and the green tree frog. Take care, Kenny D. Nice to have you with us. Oh, oh my. Lee is saying last time a rocket went over land, a piece fell to earth and squished a cow in Thailand. That would have been a sight to see, I dare say. Color guppies, hello. Ambulia, Rohan's talking about a big plant. Chubbs is here. Hello, Chubbs. Nice to see you. Hat trick. Hi, hat trick. Oh dear. So Sharpie's saying now we know what goes moose flat. Minaj. Hello, Minaj. Minaj has a problem. For iron fertilizer, I'd used EDDHA, chelated iron powder. But problem was when it started leaking in the water column. Tinted the water. Yeah. You've got to be able to get it mixed in with the soil and then well capped with a couple of inches of sand so that that water doesn't flow back out. You want the sand deep enough that the flow will go down inch, inch and a half, and then stop flowing. So you're not getting it coming back out. And you may need to make it deeper than 2 inches. If you're getting bleeding or you're getting soil, that means you have a shallow spot. So you need to add some more sand. Try to find that spot and add some more sand. We're simply at another ½ inch over the whole thing. KassCeeBee, I made a 6-minute video to get your thoughts on my 40-gallon breeder. Whenever you like to, you may play it and review it live on here. Well, let's give us the link, KassCeeBee. Let's take a look. Wanting to remove my anacris because it grows too fast and too tall. What's the best way to swap out a plant? Gently pull it out. You can kind of tug it like this. Just kind of do it gently. And then I like to use tweezers because it keeps your big hand out from in the soil. Use tweezers, and you want to kind of work it down about work the new plant in about 1 inch down, about a ½ inch into the sand. Don't try to push it all the way in. No need to do that. So what's the link, KassCeeBee? We'll play that. We'll try to play it. You want to post the link. Okay. Let's see. $40-gallon 3-month update. My first impression is you need a lot more plants. And if you're worried about the Nubians, is that what you said? It's Kabamba is growing out, and so is the Anacharis. Maybe you're talking about Anacharis. I would just let them canopy. Your plants are trying to catch up with the tank. These guys are dropping all their lower leaves because they're not getting enough light. And your water is a little bit hazy. So these look nice, but my hunch is they just got in there. The Anacharis and the Kabamba are really looking pretty good. This stem here, you've got a bit of a longer stem. Let me get this bigger. Let's go full tilt here so we can see what we're talking about. It's that a little, what's the fish? Guppy? Looks like a guppy. The substrate, that was the first thing I looked at, and it actually looks pretty good. Your water's a little cloudy. You've got a small sponge filter. I would get a bigger sponge filter and just leave that one in and do 2 of them. You need more filtration in there if you want to get that cleared up. I see this floating on the top. That's dead material. Leave your lights on. Do 2 things, 3 things. Get a bigger sponge filter. Add to it. Don't take that one out if you got a way to do it. Add a second sponge filter. Add some more plants. Haven't got near enough plants. Leave the light on 24/7. Don't turn it off for at least a month. Give it a chance to really power up those plants. They're struggling for lack of light, and your water is not as clear as it ought to be. The fish look perfectly healthy. I don't think you have in any way a sick tank. But you need more plants. That's the big thing, I think. Get more plants in there and get another bigger filter. I think if you do that, you'll be good to go. What's this? We got a bare bottom here with some floating plants, a little something moss ball or something. I like the two-tier sand. That's kind of nice. We got two different kinds of sand. The top one probably needed to be rinsed better. It's a nice color though. I like that kind of yellow, brownish yellow sort of tint. And what are we seeing over to the right? Is that a reflection? That's outdoors. That's a window reflection, isn't it? You have a lot of nice plants outdoors. You need more plants in your tank here. A lot more. A whole lot more. And then leave the lights on and let them grow. Don't trim anything. Let it go until the tank gets thick with plants. Okay, let's see if anyone else had any additional comments. John Doe is breeding endlers. Nice. I think your tank is basically really nice, KassCeeBee. I like what you've done with the substrate. From a feng shui point of view, you could use 2 more rocks. A total of 3 rocks is going to simply feel better. So you might consider that. And go out and collect some wild plants. If you don't want to spend money on plants, collect some wild plants and put them there. Let's get this tank beefed up. And then leave the lights on 24/7. Put a bigger sponge filter in. I think if you do those things, you'll be good to go. Billy Dog, hello. My husband wouldn't let me buy any rocks. Well, don't buy them. Just find some out in the field. Rinse them off and put them in. You don't need to spend money on them. Same with plants. You don't need to spend any money. Go out to a creek, stream, pond, or ditch and find some plants that are living in water. Not grass that's flooded, but aquatic plants. Dig them up, bring them in, put them in the tank. 9 times out of 10, they'll do just fine. Try that stuff and see if you can't get this thing begin to really crank it. It's a nice tank. I think you've got a good start here. You need to just kind of add to it a little bit. And you'll be good to go. I need to, where am I? Need to get rid of this. Get back to, no, fully on it. Let's just dump it there. Trying to get my YouTube back open. Go. Okay, dokie. Let me cut to the bottom of the comments here. Okay, dokie. Let me cut to the bottom of the comments here. Okay, dokie. Let me cut to the bottom of the comments here. Nicholas Grawl. How do rocks affect the fish tank? It affects fish behavior. It affects plant behavior too. It creates a different condition underneath the rock from the regular water flowing through. It creates a dead zone, but really creates an extended um, um, anaerobic zone, creates cover for fish, cover for plants. It certainly affects aesthetics. KassCeeBee, I did not have the audio on. I'm sorry. I'll put that on and listen to it again a little later, KassCeeBee. GRB, Catfish Terry, enjoy your artworks. Yeah, me too. That's his son doing those really, really pretty stuff. Added 2 swords yesterday and some more fish. Pardon? Okay, well, thank you. So there are a lot of them with no air. Then we got to line up in somewhere. I will find it.
I know you will. I'm just disappointed in me that I can't find it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Thank you. You need a lot of plants in there, KassCeeBee. And really, if you will get out and do a little collecting, collect some plants, and select them kind of carefully. I mean, select stuff that looks nice, and put maybe 20 to 30 new plants in that tank, and then leave the light on 24/7. As I said, for at least a month. Get a bigger sponge filter if you need to make one. See what you can put together. The plants will do a lot to clear the water, to get that fogginess out of there. They'll do a whole lot to clear it. Checking for carbonate content by putting vinegar in it. Yeah, she's got a couple little swords in there. Nicholas grabs some plants from his local lake. Rohan says bare bottom tanks need a spanking. Good idea. I think if you add more anacris, trim it and replant the trimmings. Try that, the anacris. Trim it down, cut it in half, and then replant the trimmings right there with the other plants. So you got a bush growing up. It'll give you a whole section of plant there, and that'll look a lot nicer if you get kind of that bushy effect. That's really the power of the Dutch system is you get a really a culture of a specific species of plant growing as a kind of a bush, and you've got numbers of these spread around. I think that's one of the beauties of the system rather than sprigs here and there. You have a whole colony growing together and coming up. Try that with the anacris. That should help a great deal. Yeah, Lee's saying, talking about a little bit of rock, better than a whole lot of rock. Absolutely true. Well, don't get self-conscious, Billy Dawn. We're not here to criticize. We're here to help. Um, and help you achieve what you want to achieve. No, I don't think your light's strong enough, KassCeeBee. But then you don't have enough plants in there either. So do both. Um, if you can buy a big bag full of plants from your LFS, you can do that. You want some bulk. Get a bunch of stuff going in there and then let it grow, even if it's a plant you don't like especially. Let it grow. You need to kind of turn the corner on the tank to get it balanced. You can always switch out stuff down the road, but for now you need a lot of really good plant growth in there, and you're not going to get it unless you put a lot of plants in and give it a whole lot of light, just 24/7 for at least a month. Don't worry about the height at this point, KassCeeBee. The important thing right now is to get growth. You can always trim and replant. Trim it if it gets too long, trim it and plant your trimmings. Um, I think you need to let this stuff get going wild a bit to get it to the place where you're going to be happy with it. The plants are not happy right now. To get them happy, you need to get them really cranking and growing. To do that, you're going to have to add more, do more light. You can trim, but plant the trimmings. Don't throw your trimmings away. You need them. Stick them back in the soil, in the substrate. Anubias would be nice. That would be a good thing. A piece of driftwood with Anubias glued to it would look really sharp. You can get driftwood out of a creek or pond. You want something that is very old, preferably very hard, preferably not something that's crumbling up, something that's much more stable than that. And then put a spot of super glue on the crown of the Anubias. Touch it to the driftwood, it'll stick right on it. Yeah, Lee's talking about cleaning sponges in the washing machine. I do that here. I have a dedicated washing machine that's never had soap in it. And I wash all of my sponges. They're in the tank for 6 months to a year. So they're pretty badly glummed up by the time they come out. We put them in there. It does tear them up. I mean, it's not good for them. They get beat up. They get beat up a bit, but it does get them clean and new. And then they go right back, usually in another tank. GRB just wrote a song. He thinks it's terrible. Well, we need to hear it, GRB. KassCeeBee. Your fish need a chance to hide. They need a place to hide. It gives them security to be able to hide. And then they come out and look around and come visit you. So don't be afraid to provide hiding places. They're not going to stay there. They're just going to dart behind the rock when somebody comes to the room that they don't know. When you come to the room, they're going to come out, want to play or eat. You, Stephen said he thinks Lee had it, so he might have. Right, Lisa. Steven says, no, you didn't. Billy Dog talking about putting small plants in the front and large plants in the back. Right, Chevy Fish says plants grow leggy because they're reaching for light, which means you need more light. And you can do that. You cannot possibly duplicate the sun. Think of a plant growing in the sun. How much light are you providing that is comparable to the sun, to sunlight? It's not even close. It's the difference between day and night. The more light you can provide, the better your plants are going to be, and the healthier your tank is going to be. Low light plants are okay. I think you need more light though. Thirsty Rabbit, hello, hello. Nice to see you. KassCeeBee, rather swap out Anacris with some Java Fern and swords. That sounds good. Java Ferns do real well in sword plants. Sword plants can go either way. If you start with small swords, you got a better chance of getting them going. But sword plants really require a lot of light to get them really growing. Java's not so much. But you're not going to hurt anything with more light. Low light plants simply means that they will survive in low light. Doesn't mean they don't like high light. They will thrive in high light. Stephen is saying, KassCeeBee, know what you mean. I have cuttings from one plant in 20 tanks. Rattletrap, hello Rattletrap. Good to see you. Nice to have you with us. Thirsty Rabbit. Looks like the 10 o'clock crowd is in. Ro is at a doctor's appointment this morning. She will be online when she gets back, and it could be closer to noon. So she's not likely to be here at 10 o'clock. It's likely to take her another hour or so before she's able to get back. So if you miss Ro, just hang in there. She will be along. Aquarium Cop, put the sponges in the sock or pantyhose. Then in your fish only dedicated washing machine. Yeah, that will keep them from getting beaten up. They do get beaten up. The what's that thing that goes around? Really chews them up. Didn't have substrate on plants and everything died over and over and over. Didn't know why. No, right. Well, there are other kinds of swords. Rhett's back in the hospital. His infection came back. KassCeeBee, my light runs 24/7. It's off for 6 hours. So that's why I thought it would be too much. It's off for, so it's on 18/7. I would let it run just straight out. Just leave it on, don't turn it off. It's obvious looking at your tank that you need more light. You may need a second light. It may be that the bulb you have is not powerful enough. You need an absolute minimum of 1 watt per gallon. 1 watt per gallon 24/7. 2 watts per gallon, and you can reduce the amount of light to like 12 hours. So kind of compute it that way. No, not drum. I'm thinking about the thing in the middle that turns. Agitator. The agitator. No. Plants that are turtle safe. Boy, that's a good question. Plants that are turtle safe. Probably not. Turtles love to eat plants. That's their favorite thing. Need something that doesn't taste good. Maybe bacopa. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Bacopa is a mint plant, and it may be that they won't like the taste. The more hard leaf plant like swords, Java fern maybe. They may not like Java fern. One of the things I discovered about eating bulb plants is that the plant-eating snails don't like them. That really surprised me. They obviously have some kind of foul-tasting substance in them to keep them from getting eaten up by snails. Okay, Thomas Badavanac, nice to see you. We are getting down to it here. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. It's been kind of a struggle and a slow start today. I may start a half an hour later tomorrow morning at 8:30. We'll see how that goes. Around 8:30 to 10 or 8:30 to 10:30. Anyway, delighted to be with you all. I so thoroughly enjoy being here and being with you and being able to share fun and share time and share your fishy concerns and interests. And we do have a bunch of real pros here. It's really remarkable how much expertise has come onto this stream. Let's see, I'm trying. There we go. Trying to get over here to my buddy Lee. I've got the volume turned on. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things that we have. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about Bye, guys. See you all.